Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? I just got back from work about 10 minutes ago, and when I got home, my gear oil was here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking these plates off and go through the whole process of what you need to do to change the gear oil on the Talaria Sting. All you're gonna need for tools, there's not much. All you're really gonna need is your gear oil, 80W90, and then you want a funnel of some sort. I don't know which size, so I just took a bunch of them. A 17mm, a 10mm, and then a 4mm Allen key. Obviously, then you want a bucket and a rag or a microfiber to wipe down your little compartment after. I'm gonna go ahead and start taking these off. First thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and take off this bash guard, and you have one Allen bolt here, another one here, and then on the back of these lower bolts, you have a nut right here. So this is what you need your 10mm for, and on the other side. We're gonna get to this and enjoy. And before I get into it, I did want to mention that every single video I put out, I've said this before, but every video I put out, I put timestamps down in the description. So if you're somebody who is watching this video just to get down into the nitty gritty and figure out what you want to figure out and bounce, that's cool. I'm totally cool with that. Timestamps down in the description below, so don't forget to go check those out. Anyone that wants the more vloggy style video, enjoy it. And I will catch you guys on the bike. Not on the bike. I'll catch you working on the bike. Nah, whatever. I'll catch you in a bit. Let me go ahead, put this back on here so I don't forget. Okay. And those are the longer ones, much longer. You'll see when you take them off, but longer one has the nut. Bottom. So I suggest when you do this, you start taking the bash guard off, that you either do these ones down low first, or you leave the top one in just a little bit loose. That way when you're taking it off, the bash guard doesn't want to fall down and hang. It's giving me a little bit of a hard time. Not too bad, but it'll definitely help you out. So now, onto the plastic cover, so we can get into the gearbox there. So same Allen key, which is nice. It's a 4mm. You got one here down at the bottom, and then one up top, right up here. One down here at the bottom, and one right up there at the top. I had just hit 150 miles the other day on this thing and took it for one little rip. So I'm at like 158 miles. I went a little bit over what I wanted to because they recommend 300 kilometers for your first change and 1,000 kilometers for your second. So that's around like 161 miles and I think like 620 miles. I'll put how much it actually is right here, but I wanted to change it out at 150 miles and then every 500 just to be safe, and that way I know that my bike's got good oil in it, because with my experience with cars, I would just much rather have nice clean oil than, you know, push it to that 600-mile mark. This bottle was like $15 maybe, and I would assume it's gonna fill up a lot more than just one. So that's key. Get your oil. I already have a second bottle coming just because. After you get that cover off, now this is your drain plug, which is a 17 right here. This is your fill cap. So this is where you're gonna fill it up. First, I'm gonna go ahead and crack the fill cap. So when the oil starts coming out, it comes out much faster because it has an airflow. And this is probably on extremely tight. Yeah, go figure. So, I guess you need some channel locks too, or an adjustable wrench or needle nose or something to get this off, because have fun without them. Unless your technician didn't put it on nearly as tight, but this is on here. And of course we have a cable in the way. Once you get it cracked, it's really easy, but that beginning crack is definitely not the easiest. I'd recommend using something, and obviously be careful because we don't want to snap this, then you're screwed. I'm not going to take it all the way out, just because I want the least chance of any debris getting in there as possible. I'm even going to wipe this dirt off before I get in there. And I also noticed that there is a rubber gasket, so be careful that you don't lose that rubber gasket when you're taking this off. Now that that's cracked, I'm gonna go ahead and take this part off. I did forget to mention in the beginning, you want to make sure that your bike is the most straight up and down it can possibly be. That's not really a problem, but it's just going to make the draining process a lot better and a lot cleaner, because it's only really going to hit this little bracket right here, which we can easily wipe off right after. Damn! I had to use 2 hands for that. I was on there. Now gear oil smells disgusting, so hopefully I can stay clean during this. Yes sir. Ooh, that's goopy. Oh, gear oil is like the worst smell. It's so bad. When I was a mechanic for a short amount of time, gear oil was like my least favorite thing, because man, as soon as you crack that seal, you know it's gear oil. You don't gotta second guess it. Alright. Now that that's draining, I can go ahead and take this all the way off. So I don't see a fill line or anything. They said 120 to 150 milliliters, which is basically just the whole thing. So you can pretty much just fill it all the way up. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and let that drip for an extra couple seconds, get everything possible out of there. Is that even gonna work? Just barely. This funnel is tiny, guys. Look at this. And you can barely get it in there. So if you don't have a syringe or something and you got to use a funnel, use a small one. Don't even try with a bigger one. It's not going to work. All right, guys. The drip is pretty much stopped. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a nice little wipe. And when you go to put your plug back in, make sure you still have your washer. You don't want to lose that. You want all your seals and washers, so be wary of it. And then remember, because we're upside down, when you're screwing it back in, you're going lefty, and when you're taking it off, you go clockwise because it's upside down. I'm sure a lot of you will know that, but to any of you that are sitting there struggling with it, trying to take it off, that is probably why. Alright, now that we got that back in, go ahead and fill it up. This stuff is the bomb. Oh, now we got a nice golden color. And we got a little nozzle. You just don't want to overpour, that's all. So we are full. It fills up quicker than you think. I mean, I used like nothing out of this bottle. It's still up to here. So, I mean, for any of you that think it's a little excessive to have the Gearbox, this bottle was like $18, and you can find cheaper oil. And this will probably last me to like 4,000, 5,000 miles. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. honestly wasn't hard at all. I'm probably going to put a little bit of grease back on these before I put them in, because I know that I'm going to be taking them out every 500 miles. I don't want them to seize up or anything, so I'm definitely going to put some grease on here. Grease up all your bolts, guys. If you ever plan on possibly taking the bolt out again, just grease it up. I'm just going to go ahead and put this on there. Alright guys, so I just tightened that down again. I put it in the exact same spot that it was from factory. Once it started getting tight and I couldn't do it with my hands, I just cranked it to exactly where they had it. That way I know I'm good. I'm not going to look up any torque specs or anything, because you can just easily go by feel. As long as you're confident. If you want to go look up the torque specs and torque them down, go ahead, but I'm just going to go by feel. And remember, we're going counterclockwise to tighten this because it's upside down. So pulling towards yourself if you're behind the bike to tighten it, and pushing away from yourself to loosen it. I'll tighten that down pretty good. It's a 17mm bolt, so you probably aren't even capable of snapping it unless you use some crazy leverage or you're insanely strong. But obviously don't crank it down too tight. Get it snug. Do a nice quarter turn or whatever. Double check, because I always love double checking. Alright, that's nice and snug. And the top one I can't even move with my fingers, so I know that one's good. Alright, we're all ready. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put the cover back on, put the bash guard back on, and we're all set. First things first, move your oil. Well, it's a good thing I got extra batteries because the GoPro just died. So I am now going to set you guys back up, and yeah, we're going to get to putting this thing back together. And a quick little peek at the bikes, because why not? Got my new front number plate on, number 99, baby. A couple more stickers added. Mud guard. This is clutch. Honestly, keeps inside here so clean, especially with the gearbox being right here. Even though it's all enclosed, I really just wanted to keep the mud off the shock and gearbox. So that's been working awesome. And the dirt bike. We're gonna get some footage of this coming up, probably in the next couple of months or so. Not too sure when I'll get to ride this thing again, because there's only one track on the island, and that's the only place that we can actually ride. So hopefully I'll be able to get some footage of the dirt bike as well. Obviously, any of you that are here for the e-bikes, I'm sure you like dirt bikes as well. So we will get some footage of that whenever the time comes. But for now, let's finish this up. So first things first, this has got to go on. All right, just to reiterate the whole process, guys, you have 120 to 150 milliliters of 80 W90 gear oil, and the only bolts you take off are the 2 holding the cover on right here, and then the 4 holding the bash plate on, which is the 2 little ones go up front, and then the 2 longer ones with the nuts go down low. It's honestly way simpler and way easier than I thought it was going to be. And for anybody out there who's new to this type of thing, even just working on your bike in general, if you got a Talaria and you haven't done much work with screws and whatnot, I know that might sound weird, but you never know, there could be somebody out there. Always make sure when you're tightening your bolts down, especially these where they're kind of blind, if it's tough to put in right off the start, don't keep going. You're just going to cross thread your bolt the whole way. Should go in nice and easy. Bang, she's back on. Anybody that wants to make fun of me for saying that, go ahead, but I want to be the most helpful I can possibly be. So if there's somebody out there that doesn't know that and doesn't understand that, I might have just helped them out. That's how I look at it. Let's go. I'm so pumped. It's kind of sad not being able to ride my bike if I wanted to. But now I have the gear oil next time, so as soon as I get close, I'm just going to go ahead and do it right away. not have to wait for it to come in. All right, guys, and that wraps it up. Got everything put back together. There's no rattle, no leaks, nothing. Probably took about a half hour, 45 minutes with me going inside a couple times just to grab a drink or, go to the bathroom or whatever. But yeah, it's quick, simple, easy. I got tons of fluid left. I mean, I could literally change the bike 10 plus times easy with a liter bottle. So I don't know milliliters to liters, so any of you laughing at me right now, whatever. But I thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope it helped you out. And if you have any questions regarding the oil change or just anything in general about the bike, you know what? It doesn't even have to be about the bike. Whatever you got to say, go ahead and say it down low in the comment section. And I'll see you guys next time. If this helped you out, make sure to give it a thumbs up, please. It helps me out a ton. And I love seeing those likes go up. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. And don't forget, subscribe for more. Peace! Yeah? You tell them to subscribe?